what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me telling you guys things I wish I knew before my freshman year of high school. Basically, I'm going to be giving you guys tons of advice on your freshman year of high school because at the time I'm filming this video, I just finished all my final exams a week ago, and so I'm officially finished with 9th grade with my freshman year of high school, and I'm preparing this summer, obviously, to go into 10th grade my sophomore year in August. And I feel like I have a ton of advice that I can share with you for freshman year because I remember like a year ago at this time I was watching so many of these videos, and I thought that if I could just even like put one more out there to help people who are about to go into their freshman year of high school and just really need some advice, because trust me, I still remember how scared I felt, like how nervous I was. So I just really wanted to do this because like I know a lot of people watch these around this time. Just for a little backstory on my freshman year, just because of COVID and everything, I did go to school in person for a little bit in August, and then I did online for the rest of the school year, but I still participated in school activities like sports and clubs, and I still like kept in touch with friends who were in person, and I went to a few of the dances and like events at high school, and I heard a lot about like the social aspect and the academic aspect from people I knew at the school who were like obviously in person, like from the point of view of people in person. My best friend who was in person all year also gave me some of the advice that I'm going to be giving you guys in this video, just because I wanted to give you guys as much advice as possible, because I know my own experience is limited because I wasn't in person most of the year. But as you can probably already tell, I was not one of those popular people like in my freshman year with like all the boyfriends, all the friends, all that kind of stuff. So this advice is going to be from like a real high schooler. I did just want to say, like, before starting this video, every school is different, everyone's experience is different, everyone's maturity level is different, and everyone has different interests and like things they want to like do in high school and like accomplish. So I just wanted to say that because this advice is basically based like on my high school and just like kind of what I think about it. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer before I start this video, just because I know everyone's different and I know that this advice might not apply to everyone. So you can take a lot of this advice and interpret it to fit like whatever you think. But enough talking about this. Now I'm going to get into the actual video and give you guys things I wish I knew before starting high school, things I wish I knew like in my freshman year, and just like advice on your freshman year of high school in general. So let's get into the video. So there are actually going to be 3 sections of this video: academic, social, and miscellaneous. And I actually did something similar to this in a video that I did actually like just around a year ago, titled Things I Wish I Knew Before Middle School, like as an 8th grade graduate. I did 3 sections like I'm doing here. I just think it's like good to arrange everything just so like you guys can skip around, like if you want more academic advice, or like if you want more social advice, or just like random advice in the miscellaneous section. And I just wanted to give a little general piece of advice now before like getting into these sections. It does depend on your school and the people that you go to school with, and a lot of people on the internet will try to tell you otherwise, like, oh, high school is the exact same as middle school, there's no need to worry. But I'm going to be completely real with you guys and say that at least in my situation, high school is way different from middle school, and I will list how. I actually have my phone right here, like I wrote all the advice down, so like if you see me reading off of this, that's why. But here's basically like the main ways of how high school is different. There's harder schoolwork, there's more schoolwork, there's more complex concepts and terms and stuff that you'll have to like learn how to learn. There's also a lot more maturity around you, especially in the older grades. There's also a lot more independence, a lot more choice, but with that, a lot more responsibility. So those are all the ways that high school is very different from middle school. I mean, at the end of the day, it is just school, so I guess in that aspect, it's not very different, but the experience of high school in general is definitely different from middle school. So now getting into the academic section of this video. So my first piece of advice for this section is go to your orientation. There were a lot of people who I knew who did not go to their freshman orientation. Some schools don't offer it, but I know a lot of people who are like on vacation and so their family can't come home in time, and they're like, well, I'll just like go to the first day of high school. But orientation is very, very helpful if your school offers one. And so if you are having a vacation or like traveling that extends into that and like you will miss your orientation, talk to your family maybe, because at your orientation, at least at my school, you get your schedule and computers and textbooks, and if it's a freshman orientation, sometimes they even give you a tour of like different parts of the school. It's just really, really helpful. Also, I am saying this because I didn't even learn how to do this in my freshman year, which is probably why I'm saying it, but learn how to take good notes. Honestly, my kind of note-taking strategy is just write down everything, which is so bad, and you're just gonna get so much more burnt out so much quicker. I honestly still don't know how to do this, so it's still something I'm gonna probably be struggling with as I go into my sophomore year, but just learn how to take good notes. I would recommend writing who, what, where, when, and how, and why, like just like the main answers to those questions in like very simple short sentences, because taking tons of notes is like just copying the page, so there's really no point anyway. Also, ask for help when you need it, like from your teachers or even from your classmates. Like if you know someone in the class who maybe understands something better than you do, don't be scared, because it's really just gonna help you learn. It's not gonna help you learn if you don't ask questions, and like you can't be expected to just know everything right away, especially all the new concepts that you will be learning in high school. And it depends for everyone like what classes you're taking, but you're probably gonna be taking a harder math class and like a more advanced English class like another year. Like everything is a year ahead, and it's also a whole new experience. It's high school, so don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, because because I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. No one cares. And I know that like a lot of people who have like been through their freshman year of high school say this, but no one cares. You're going into high school thinking everyone is looking at you, thinking that everything that you do, like if you raise your hand, if you have a question for the teacher, everyone's gonna make fun of you and bully you. But no one cares because everyone else is thinking that about themselves, no matter how cool they seem to be or like how popular they seem to be. I promise way more people than you would think have the exact same fears and questions. People will admire someone like you for actually speaking up. Also, another huge tip for academics is learn to manage your time effectively and just like learn how to time manage. I did something really helpful on my Google spreadsheet docs this year. I basically made a spreadsheet and it has like each day of the week in like the hour, and I just put in all the work I was doing that day and any like appointments or meetings I had. It helped me so much just to visualize everything in front of me, and it really like made me see how I was managing my time and also how much quicker I could get things done than like I actually thought before making the whole spreadsheet, which therefore allowed me to be more productive. And it's really important like as you go into high school, like in your freshman year of high school, you're gonna have probably so many more commitments and just responsibilities, probably a lot more homework than you did in middle school. So it's really important to learn how to manage your time because you only have 24 hours in a day and there's only 7 days a week. So use like each chunk of time to your advantage, but also make sure to set aside a substantial amount of time for breaks because without breaks you can't be productive. Also learn how to make a study schedule. This kind of relates to like making a time management schedule, but learn like how to like break up your studying just so like you're not cramming the night before. Now there are these two websites that I'm going to recommend to you like for the academic section. I'm just reading them off my phone. Use Quizlet to make study sets. Guys, I cannot. Okay, if you are taking a world language, even if you're not, okay, like Quizlet can be used for any class, but if you are taking a world language class like French or Spanish or something like that, using Quizlet to like make a vocabulary set, it is the most helpful thing ever because you'll like enter the French word and it will like give you the rough translation. There is nothing I can stress more than using Quizlet for vocabulary sets or just like key terms and concepts you have to use. It'll also give you like all these review activities. I'm planning on using Quizlet for the rest of my high school career, and also use Quillbot for paraphrasing for English essays. I will link both of these down below. Also, here's like a little just like kind of like sub tip just for like English class. My best friend and I both agree with this because we both love English class, and the most important thing to do before doing something in English, like a writing assignment or just something like that, is finding the theme first and like the main message of the story. If you focus on finding the theme first, that will really help you with the prompt. It will really help you with like writing an essay or something like that because it'll just like really shape it. I cannot stress this next piece of advice enough, but make good relationships with your teachers. Your teachers at the end of the day are the ones who grade your papers, and your teachers also sometimes make your tests. Teachers just generally are there to help you, and so be nice to your teachers because most of them, like not the mean ones, are there to help you learn and like advance further in high school. So don't be one of the jerks in class who's rude to the teacher for no reason. It's so uncool. And like just from my point of view, just don't be afraid to make good relationships with your teachers because your teachers are out of high school, like they're in your high school teaching, but your teachers are out of high school. They are mature and grown-up adults, and your teachers at the end of the day are gonna really appreciate having a nice kid in the class who's nice to them. And it's also just good to have these connections later on in high school. Like if you're going to a more advanced level of like whatever course you're taking, it's really good to have a good relationship with the teacher who can like give you recommendations, possibly one day write you a letter of recommendation. These next two pieces of advice have more to do for like what you need to buy. I would say get a good backpack and buy a planner. Your backpack is going to be so heavy. Like I cannot even stress to you how heavy my backpack was for just even the little while I was at school in person. So make sure to find a good backpack that's like good on your back. I will link the one that I use down below, and also make sure to buy a planner. And you can also use the spreadsheet I was talking about earlier, but just like honestly having something written down with like everything you need to get done, it's really helpful. I don't know what I would do without planning. I'm probably a bit of an over planner. And now this next piece of advice is a little scary, but I did just want to tell you it because I saw it happening to a lot of people, and I don't think it happened to me because I was online and I was like used to being online from my 8th grade year, but you might experience a little dip in your grades as you go into high school and get used to like the high school material, and that is okay as long as like obviously you know what to do, you talk to your teachers about it and fix it. But a lot of people I know just kind of experienced a little dip in their grades just because it's hard to get used to a whole new experience, and like you do learn a lot more complex stuff in high school, so just don't put too much stress on yourself because you're getting so used to like such a new environment. There's really no reason to stress out as long as like you can fix the problem. Obviously you don't want like your grades just going like that. You really actually want to maintain a good GPA in high school. Oh, I would really like to say, like relating to this, do your best this year because even now going into 10th grade, I'm not burnt out, but I definitely feel like I want to have like more fun in high school and not focus so much on like academics, which I know is bad. I'm definitely gonna focus on my schoolwork. It's one of the most important things in high school, obviously, but 9th grade, like your freshman year, is when you're like really motivated to do that. So just do your best, because this is the year to boost your GPA so you can, you know, like make more memories, give yourself a little break further down the road in high school. I mean, obviously always maintain a good GPA, but you know what I mean. Also, this kind of relates to like the social part, but not really. It's like, try to make friends with people in your classes, because this can really help you, like if you're struggling with a certain concept or like key term and someone else understands it. And it's also good if you have to like miss a day of school, you have someone right there who can like give you the homework or like tell you what happened in class. Try to find at least one person in every class. I know everyone says this in these videos, and it's definitely easier said than done, but everyone's nervous, everyone wants to make friends, so be confident, put yourself out there. Also, see the school counselor if you need to. Sometimes it's helpful to just talk about all your stress with your school counselor, and it doesn't have to be like a therapy school counselor. It can also just be like a counselor who's there to like help you pick out your classes. Be sure to go see them, because they can actually really help you figure stuff out when you're stressed. Also, I wrote down this whole chunk on my phone, so I'm just gonna read this for like the next piece of advice, and like this is the last piece of advice for the academic section. If you feel like a class is too hard, wait a little while, because like you want to just see if you can challenge yourself. But if you really feel like you have to, switch out of the class, because honestly it is better to do well in a class that isn't so hard than to fail miserably in a really hard class. But just keep in mind that if you do switch out, it might hold you back. Like if you switch from honors to like the regular class, you might not be able to go to honors next year. It all depends on your school and how it works. So feel free to move down, but definitely give the class a chance, even if it's a little hard at first. So now moving into the social section, and honestly this is the fun section to talk about. I mean, a lot of people probably clicked on the video because they're nervous about the social aspect of high school. And as I said at the beginning of this video, high school is definitely a lot different socially than it was in middle school. So here's my advice on the social part of high school, your freshman year mainly. The biggest piece of advice, and it sounds basic, everyone says this, but I didn't realize what a big deal it was until I went into high school myself. So listen to me right now. If you like haven't been paying attention this whole video, get involved. Join sports, join clubs, join teams. All I can say is get involved, because getting involved in my school is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Join a sport your freshman year. I'm on my school's tennis team, and I just love it so much. I've met so many people through that, and like those people know people. And also your exercise is built in, because it's really hard a lot of the time when you're in school like at a desk all day to get exercise. So not only will joining a sport really help you in like the social area, it will also give you exercise. And I heard this on all the high school videos I was watching before I went into my own high school, but they were not lying when they say you make so many friends and get so much experience from joining a sport or a club. It's just such an amazing way to not only get stuff like on your resume for college, but also to do what you're interested in, and also to make friends and know a bunch of people. Like if you are someone who doesn't know a lot of people, get involved. You will meet so many people, I promise. Also, don't be distant with your classmates. I know that a lot of people would prefer to keep to themselves, and if that is the kind of person you are, that is totally okay too. But try to engage at least a little bit, because it will just really help you. Like if you want to make friends, like you know what I mean, just like put yourself out there. Just try to engage a little, because it will really help you in like the whole social department. Also, I can tell you this as someone who was online most of the school year, and someone who is planning on making up for lost time when I go back in August, like with what I'm about to say. Go to all the dances, go to all the formals, and go to all of like the football games and like just the games in general, like high school sports games, because you will feel really left out if you don't. It's also just such amazing experiences, like for you to like one day tell your kids. It's just a bunch of stuff that you really can't get like anywhere else, like just like these amazing high school experiences. I did go to my school's homecoming, and actually I did want to give a little advice if your school like has a homecoming or just like dances in general. I would definitely recommend going, but I just wanted to warn you that like if you are in your freshman year of high school, you're going in new, you don't know a lot of people like the seniors do, and most likely you don't have that many friends compared to the seniors, so you're going to feel really lonely and isolated, and like you're not living out the perfect high school life when you go to these dances. Like you'll see people being crowned homecoming king and queen and everyone partying it up on the dance floor. At least this is how it was for me. I was just kind of like off to the side with one of my friends, and honestly I just want to tell you, like I needed to remind myself of this too. You still have so much more left of high school when you're in your freshman year, so don't stress out at all like about, you know, like not living out the perfect high school life yet. You're still getting used to things. But yeah, just like some more advice for like dances, formals, like football games, sports games, high school stuff like that, like high school events. Try to go with a friend. Try to like find someone who you can go with, just because it's better than like being there completely alone. And so now I am skipping to this next little piece of advice, which I honestly don't think I should even have to say, but don't drink, don't do drugs, and don't let anyone pressure you into doing anything that you are not ready for, if you know what I mean. I personally don't do any of this stuff. I don't think it's cool to do any of this stuff. I've never been even close to doing any of this stuff. I said this in my middle school advice video, which is just ridiculous. Like you're too young in your freshman year. I don't even have to explain. Just don't do it, okay? Like take it from me, it doesn't make you cool. It makes you actually really stupid. And as I was saying, like the last little piece of that, 99% of the time, don't date seniors, because they usually only have one intention. And honestly, just generally in high school, this will be kind of when you start, you know, getting more excited about dating. This was definitely the way I was. I was like, I'm gonna get a boyfriend this year. I did not get a boyfriend this year. I was like, I'm gonna have my first kiss this year. I did not have my first kiss this year. And okay, maybe things would have been different for me if I was in person and not online most of the year. However, you don't need to rush things because after your freshman year, you still have 3 years of high school when you will be older and like more mature to do these kinds of things. But you know when I say like these kinds of things, yeah, well, when you're in high school, there's a lot of people around you who are doing other kinds of things that you might not feel ready for. And there's definitely a lot of consequences to doing those things that someone who's really young and heavily influenced by other people might not think of in the moment. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that you are not 1000% ready for. And also, don't let anyone take advantage of you. Make sure that what you're doing is what you feel comfortable with, and make sure you're not doing stuff only for the other person. And I think that's enough said. I mean, you know what to do, and everyone's situation is different, but you will always regret doing something that you weren't like actually mature enough to like handle in that moment. Now for some tips for parties. I have never been to a high school party, and you might be going into high school expecting to be invited to all these parties, and you might, you know? Everyone's different, and personally for me, I didn't go to any high school parties this year, but just kind of like what I've gathered from like some other people that I know went to parties this year in like their freshman year. Just make sure that like if you're in a situation like that, don't ever let an intoxicated person drive you home, and also always know how you're gonna get home before like you actually go to the party, especially like if you need to leave early for whatever reason. And also, I just wanted to say this, and it's really sad that I have to say this, but with the crazy world we live in, my mom has given me this advice, and I just want to keep all of you guys safe too. So don't trust food and drink as much as you should be able to as a carefree kid. A lot of things can get laced with things, and I'm just here to tell you, be careful, cover your cup like as you walk past people, because some people can like drop stuff into your drink. You know what I mean? Just be careful with like who you're sharing food with and like who you're getting a drink from. And now I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice on crushes, because I did get my first real crush this year, and it's still going on. It's really bad, and I just wanted to tell you, and I don't know why I'm saying this because I'm gonna say this and then go right back to like not following this, but don't let it consume your own life. Focus on yourself, because the crush will probably fade, or you'll end up in a relationship with the person, but you will be with yourself forever. So don't sacrifice things about yourself to make your crush happy or like make your crush like you. I'm saying this as someone who's doing the complete opposite, but if I'm being mature, like just really focus on yourself and prioritize yourself like over a crush, and also focus on your friends and your schoolwork, because like all the effects of that will be around a lot longer than this crush. I don't know why I'm saying, honestly, I don't know why I'm saying this. You're in high school, you're gonna have all these feelings, and I'm going through it now too. Like I'm trying to like give myself advice basically. I'm not gonna follow it though. Anyway, moving on. This next piece of advice is like, honestly, it was so like, I just think this piece of advice is like really helpful, and I kind of like wrote it down. Try to make friends with sophomores or upperclassmen, because they are more mature and they can help broaden your social network. Joining the tennis team was like one of the best decisions of my life, because not only do I like obviously love tennis, but I met so many nice seniors, and the older people get in high school, the more mature they are, which is so amazing. So like they will be nice to you, they will like take you under their wing most of the time, and like just try to get friends with people older than you, because they can offer you some really valuable like advice on high school and like classes that they once took, and they can also help broaden your social network, because as you keep going through high school, you start to know more and more people, so they probably know way more people than you would ever think, and so they can really help you with this. But since we're talking about social stuff and like friends and everything, I would just like to say, spend time with your family and don't make your entire life about school and your friends. As someone who was online this school year, I got so much time with my family, and I would not trade that for the world. Obviously, I probably should have found a better balance between like family time and like friends and stuff like that, but in all fairness to me, I was doing online school. But the time with your family is something you will never ever take for granted, and I know that everyone's family situation is different, but take it from me as someone who has spent a lot of time with their family, who's really close with their family. Doing online school, I definitely know I made the right decision, not even because of COVID, but because I got so much valuable time with my family that I would not trade for anything. And so make sure when you're in high school and just consumed by everything, make sure to spend time with your family and prioritize them, so this way you just won't have regrets later on in your life. And I would also like to say, make a lot of memories. I mean, the reason why high school is like such a big deal in like the movies and everything like that is because your social world, it really does change, and so make a lot of memories, as long as they don't involve possibly getting trouble with your parents or like your school or the law, but really have fun. I mean, you are a teenager, you're only a kid for a little while longer before like college and stuff like that, so definitely make sure to have fun and make a lot of memories. And now we are moving on to the miscellaneous or like random section of advice for this video, like stuff that didn't really quite fit into the academic or social sections of the video. So here is my miscellaneous advice, and the first one, I cannot stress enough, please listen to me, please listen to me on this. Keep a journal. I know not everyone loves to write, and like not everyone is the writing type, but please keep a journal. I started keeping a journal when I was 13, and honestly, I just can't wait to go back in person to school and document all my high school memories. Like, I know that one day I will have a journal entry about when I got my first kiss, and it will be like just right in the moment, like, you know what I mean? Keep a journal throughout high high school, like if you haven't already kept a journal, start keeping one now, like right now. Go buy a journal and get a pen and start writing about how you're feeling about going into high school, and keep your journal all throughout high school, because having these like immortalized memories written down in your journal, you can look back on them one day as an adult and like you can really just relive your high school years. I'm so excited to be able to do this. And relating to this, take a lot of pictures and videos. I'm like just so grateful to technology, honestly. Like I have so many pictures and videos of like when I went to homecoming and when I went to like one of the football games and like when I was doing tennis tournaments and stuff like that. It's just so nice to have like a whole collection of like your life, especially in high school. Also, this is just like another random piece of advice, but pack a really good emergency kit with everything that you may need in it. I make a lot of period videos on YouTube. If you've been watching me for a while, you know this. And I know it sounds kind of basic to say this, but bring pads, bring a change of underwear, bring a plastic bag, bring wipes, bring basically everything you think you need, and like get a good pack that can hold all this so you can put it in your locker or your backpack. Also, my best friend told me that she did this a lot. Go to the library to study, like if you have time right before a test, or just like any school day, like if you have stuff you want to go and review, because according to my best friend, it's apparently a really good place to study. I would also like to say it depends on the school, but don't expect to know your way around the school at all. Like especially at first, I still didn't know my way around my own school very well because I was like barely in person. So honestly, just don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just honestly like try to make connections. Like okay, my English class is like this far away from like math, and then try to like connect them. But if you are like in school for a couple weeks, you will start getting the gist of like where things are in your school. And now this is also different for everyone, and like it depends on like what your own extracurricular activities are. But if you can, also try to look for a part-time job, like maybe on the weekends, and it doesn't have to be like an actual like job. Like you could do babysitting. I mean, babysitting is like an actual job, but like you know what I mean. Like you don't have to go like work in like a fast food or like retail place to like have a real job. Whatever you think, you know, I mean, it's just good to have experience and stuff like that on your resume. And you can also get money to shop for stuff. I mean, it's always good to have money to spend, especially in high school. Also, just take this from me as someone who's been going to bed at 1 a.m. and waking up at 9 a.m. and I'm gonna have to start going to bed like a couple hours earlier and waking up a couple hours earlier when I go back to school in August. Fix your sleep schedule. I know that over the summer it's okay to like let your schedule go a little bit like when it comes to sleep, and after a hard long school year you should deserve to like stay up late, sleep in, you know. But make sure like before you go back to school you like kind of transition into like going to bed earlier, just because there is gonna probably be a lot more homework and like stuff you want to do. So you want to make sure that your like sleep schedule is really like in place. I'm going to read this next thing that I wrote because it's just kind of like a long little chunk. Don't be like me and revolve your entire life around school. Find a balance between your academic life and social life, because I barely had a balance. I was like all school and no social life, and I'm planning on fixing this when I go back to in-person school in August into my sophomore year. It's just so important, because at the end of the day, academics are important, but the real memories, like what you're going to really remember, is like your social life. I mean, prioritize your schoolwork over social stuff, of course, but find a balance. And relating to this, you really need to accept the fact that you can't do everything. This is calling me out because I still think I can do everything, every single club and sport and like assignment perfectly well. So my advice for you, like as you go into high school, and there's probably gonna be so many more like opportunities for like things you can do opened up to you, and you might feel like you want to do everything and like there's just not enough hours in the day. Prioritize what you love to do. Don't do things for anybody else, and unless you have unlimited time, don't do the rest. Really focus on what you love and like what you really want to do. And my last piece of advice, which is just like such a huge one throughout high school, not just your freshman year, but just personally for me, I'm even gonna take this with me through the rest of my 3 remaining years of high school. Focus on what you'll remember. But at the end of the day, high school is really about making memories, and high school is just a time in your life that, I mean, if you're watching this video, you're probably feeling nervous about it because it is such a huge time in your life. So focus on what you'll remember. I mean, of course you have to prioritize your responsibilities and stuff like that, but focus on that one time you went out with your friends and had a ton of fun. Focus on your high school crush and just like the way it makes you feel, and like write about it in your journal, because you will remember that over like whatever war you're learning about in history class. You know what I mean? Don't prioritize that stuff per se, but focus on it. Really use like all those social things like dances and like hanging out with your friends and just like new experiences in high school. Use that to really propel you through like the hard times in high school, because honestly, time goes by so fast. I can't believe I'm already done with my freshman year. I know what seniors feel like when they say time goes by so fast in high school. The fact that I'm already a quarter done high school, like I know it'll be like just like a blink of an eye when I'm looking back at this video finishing my senior year. So if you're watching this video, you're about to go into your freshman year of high school, enjoy it, embrace it, because it's only there for a tiny little blip in your life. So you really want to focus on what is going to make you the happiest throughout this time in your life. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I really hope that this was able to help you. If you're about to go into your first year of high school, your freshman year of high school, good luck, and I really hope that you're going to just do amazing and get to do everything that you want to do. I hope that after watching this video you feel less scared and more excited. But if you're still really nervous, or even like more nervous, or like even more excited and that's making you really nervous, I could totally relate to that. That's exactly how I was feeling at this time last year for me. Just please try to not get overwhelmed, because I can tell you for certain, based on my own experience, experience. I was so nervous about high school. I'm an overthinker, I'm a perfectionist. I was just so nervous about high school, and I did end up switching to doing online school for high school for most of the year. But even if I stayed in person, you really adjust and adapt so much quicker than you think you would, just so quickly. And high school will start to feel normal and routine and honestly boring at times even. So honestly, this initial stress is completely normal, and you shouldn't feel like you're weird for feeling this way because you are so not alone. But I can promise you it will go away. You will not feel this nervous forever, so there is really no need to freak out. So please try to be as calm as you can for me, because there is really no need to freak out. And so yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below I'm going to rock high school, because all of you out there are going to do so well in your freshman year of high school and beyond. I believe in you guys. And also comment down below what your favorite piece of advice from this video was. I would just really love to know. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel for just like more relatable teen content, like teen girl content. And I've also done a few other videos giving you guys like just advice on things. I'll have all of those advice videos linked down below for you guys to go check out. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys, and good luck in high school to everyone out there watching this video. Bye!